Our federal officers have faced assaults from bricks, baseball bats, sledgehammers, Molotov cocktails, mortar-style commercial-grade fireworks, accelerants, IEDs, and other violent weapons. Since July 4th, federal officials in Portland have made 99 arrests, and DHS officers have experienced 277 separate injuries. Those injuries range from minor to serious, to include several who may have permanent eye damage. What has been absent during the 60-day period was the assistance of local and state law enforcement personnel. DHS and DOJ officers were provided little to no assistance night after night in protecting federal properties and themselves. Local and state officials did not allow local law enforcement, to police the area immediately around the federal facilities, nor in the parks nearby, which violent opportunists used as a staging ground to prepare for their nightly assault on the courthouse and our officers. Local and state officials did not allow law enforcement to make any arrest, I repeat, any arrest, if the violence was directed at federal properties. In fact, on July 17th, the mayor of Portland directed that all federal law enforcement agencies be prohibited from accessing the Portland Police Bureau Emergency Operations Center, and on July 22nd, the Portland City Council issued a resolution specifically directing all members of the Portland Police Bureau shall not provide, request, or willingly receive any operational support from DHS and DOJ law enforcement agencies. To put simply, DHS and DOJ officers, law enforcement officers, civil law enforcement officers were abandoned due to the dangerous policies by local officials. The cooperation and assistance our federal officers receive in any other city around the country did not exist in Portland. Let me briefly address several inaccurate statements offered by some as events have played out in Portland. Our law enforcement officers are not an occupying force, and they are not serving as a general domestic security agency. They have been deployed for an extended period of time to one city, and that's Portland, and it's to protect federal properties. Our law enforcement officers are not stormtroopers, the Gestapo, or thugs. They are civil law enforcement officers who wear clearly marked uniforms, who are properly trained, who follow established law enforcement procedures and practices, and operate within their authorities. It's been suggested that our law enforcement officers should not be in Portland if not invited by state or local officials. And while our preference is always to partner with local and state law enforcement, enforcing federal law is not by invitation. Unlike local law enforcement, we cannot be directed to ignore criminal activity and actions, and we will never shy away from our statutory duties. On July 14th, I placed phone calls to the mayor of Portland and the governor of Oregon. I offered the full resources of the department to assist them in ending the violence directed at the federal courthouse. Their answer was stark. It was no thank you, and please remove all DHS law enforcement officers from Portland. Fortunately, the governor thought better about this decision and reached out 2.5 weeks later to offer Oregon State Police support to address the violence.